Master Grade Aegis Gundam. Hey, what's up again, everybody? It's Robert184, 2Rs2Bs Gundam Reviews.net, and it's a little bit debatable whether Char is the best character to kick off a review of this Gundam Seed Frenemy suit in the form of Arthur and Zala's first suit, the Aegis Gundam here. But what you can't debate is definitely that it's been a great year for Seed fans, with the 4 big bads from the beginning of the series all getting master grades, this being the 4th, so let's get to it. 2012 release, 4,800 Japanese yen, from Bandai of course, and I have to say that the cover art for this one is a little bit lacking compared to some of the other ones that we've seen between Duel and especially Buster, where I think the cover art is good enough to sell the kit on its own, although it is sort of cool because you can see Duel and Buster as they're all attacking with both forms on the front. But taking a look, it's the all-important 303. You notice that we moved on from the 1 and 200 series. There it is, the Zap Mobile suit and the name bar in English and Japanese. It's been great the way Bandai has dealt with the whole bad guy line here, as they revealed that we were going to be getting the 4 bad guys. It was a question of the order perhaps, and whether we were going to get Aegis sort of up in the air at the beginning. But they definitely came through, as they were able to use a lot of common parts for the frames, even on the 100, 200 frame, and now the 300 there. It's sort of cool in the order that they come out with. Definitely Arthur and Zala is going to have the most requested in the form of the Aegis. It's still a question whether we'll be getting a Justice, but after we got these 3 and they were all solid kits, Buster's not seen here, but definitely the Aegis with the transformation seems to be the most complex and perhaps the most interesting of the bunch. Not to mention the fact that yes, he is the pink/red villain in this whole series. /friend. Box tour time, where you can see they talk about bringing the 100 and 200 line and following it up with the 300 and including its transformation into MA form. Definitely going to be cool to see the way that works out. But for me, I've always just been a fan of the way this one looks. Definitely not up there on the best looking villains list, but he's got enough similarities to Savior, Justice, and Infinite Justice, and he's still really cool in his own way, especially because of the MA form from the very memorable scenes from the anime itself. But in terms of looks, can't wait to see how they're going to pull this off with the Master Grade, because he's got all those nice gray details that are going to be included in the shoulders and on the legs, and of course you've got those nice pointy toes down there that you definitely don't want to step onto. The shield and the rifle is looking less exciting. The shield is looking pretty good. And when you take a look at the back, it looks like he's got some cool thruster details all over the place. Not to mention the tail stabilizer, which is all going to work great when you put it into the MA form there. This is just the regular one. They're showing you front and back as you bring all 4 limbs forward and bend down those pointy toes and the Wolverine claw that's just impaled on the back there. And you can also see that the rifle is going to attach onto the side binders. They're also talking about some of the other details there. You've got the shield and the rifle. They mentioned that you can attach those on in MS or MMA form. And when you transform it, you're going to be able to pop out some mini thrusters there, it looks like, that are actually embedded into the limbs themselves. But it was this scene in the anime where we had a certain bear hug of a certain Strike Gundam that's definitely going to be the most memorable there. It's looking very cool, and it actually looks like you can see the laser in a very funny looking place there. But the white claws are looking good, and you see a lot of gray there, but it's a nice consistent gray for the inner frame. Definitely not sloppy, and I think it looks better than it actually did in the anime, where of course they do cut corners once in a while. And if you weren't a fan of the MS before, well, how about some custom Beam Saber effect parts that are going to be custom made for this kit? You're going to have the 4 white parts as mentioned, and you can take some yellow parts on them. They might have a little bit of overhang as you attach them on, but it's still a cool gimmick. If you want to get them up aerial on an action base one and just have some yellow parts coming out, it's definitely a cool way to do it. For the transformation, yes, it's a little worrying that you can see the back of the head there, but it looks like they're going to have a cool slide gimmick in there so that you can actually have the cameras come up and make things be visible. You can see some of the details that are going to be there in the legs, and you can also see that you're going to have the side binders, which are definitely oversized and a little bit cheesy looking, are still going to have some moving parts there, which is hopefully going to give them a little bit more playability than the old school high grade where they were just big pink flat parts. You're going to have some very cool custom marking seals, including some white ones that are going to move all over the place, and you're going to have a nice figure there of Arthur with his hand out off to the side, perhaps gesturing off to the side future, and you can open up the cockpit and reveal him there in his all-important red coat. To the other side, where the reason these kits are coming out, well, besides the fact that they are hopefully going to make Bandai some money, is they've got the Seed HD remaster out in Blu-ray, and you can check it out online. They're also doing some remastered comics if you want to go check out the monthly Gundam Ace. The Blu-ray certainly seems a little bit more appealing than just reading it in the umpteenth comic adaptation there. Here you can see it shown off. This is going to be unpainted out of the box. You can see lots of gray details all over the place. A little bit of yellow there on the waist and up on the V-fin. The tail stabilizer is looking good, and some white in the back of the shield is looking dynamic. But it's definitely the pointy toes more so than the beam rifle that's going to look intimidating just in terms of coolness factor. And then here they're going to talk about bringing the Master Grades to life in Seed form. You can see it in its MA attack form. And there it is, the reminder once again. The 102 and the 103 for Duel and Buster. 105 in Strike. Will we be getting it? We've already got the 207 Blitz. Would be nice if we sort of got a Blitz version, of the Astray Gold frame with just that Master Grade arm thrown in for good measure. So let's go to the manual here, and you can see all sorts of cool details. Master Grade manuals have definitely come a long way, and they're doing a good job of selling it in-universe and just in terms of a model. Here they're going to talk about the 5Gs, and we're not talking about the boy band of Gundam Wing, although there were some similarities, I suppose. He's looking really cool here with the oversized shoulders done up very, very exaggerated style. We've got the whole GAT series down there, and they're going to talk about the story guide. What was the Aegis up to, including the old bear hug on that famous island, and how did Kira get there? Well, I suppose you have to read Astray. And there's some information about that flashback. How many times did we see them, Kira, say, "Yes, my friend, remember when we were friends? I don't want to kill you." Yeah, I think that thing flashed back to quite a few times, and it probably would have been even worse if this was Destiny instead of Seed. Here's the 300 frame, and they're going to talk about, this is sort of a cool thing too, that they're going to talk about how it was used in the future. We've already seen the 100 lead up to this, with the Raider being the most famous version, that's going to say right here, but you're also going to have the Rose Aegis. I think that was from Delta Stray the manga, and some other cool looking suits. And as you go through, pretty standard there, they're going to tell you how to put on the dry decals, cut things off properly, including a table of contents. And it's worth looking here at the plates because you can see a whole bunch of X's there on the D plate. Definitely part of the frame, and it looks like only the hands are going to get used from there, so you wonder if they couldn't have designed that a little bit better to waste some less plastic. You can see the big pig plates there. You're going to have 2 of those. You're also going to have 2 of the H's, 2 of the J's, and 2 of the I's. But not all that many plates there. Sort of would be nice every once in a while if they did this page up in color. How to replace parts if you live in Japan. And then it's on to the body unit, where you'll notice you're going to have that stabilizer on the back and this cool part here that's going to bend off to the side. But otherwise, it's actually very, very skinny. And you're just going to take this large part and attach it on there and put this big part there on the back. So after you've done that, you can see that you're going to have to put the arms on, and they're going to be providing a lot more of what we take for granted as being as part of the chest. 5 plates there to make up the head. It's going to have lots of cool parts in there. And remember, it's actually going to have some slide mechanisms there. The V-fins, they're going to be on a swivel, so you can move those off to the side. Can't wait to see how the blue's going to be done for that. But it is the arms where you'll see that below the shoulders are actually going to have that attachment point that's going to bend, and you're going to need that for the transformation. Tons of plates to be used. They're definitely going to be a lot more complicated than the average one. And it looks like they're going to have some solid looking attachment parts on there. So you can take the single Wolverine claw and get it up and out of the way and locked into place. And you can see that even though it's got that skinny body, you're going to punch those in and have those exaggerated shoulders with all sorts of cool parts down there. I'm looking forward to seeing just how similar those are to the legs when they're all pointing forward in attack mode or just regular MA mode. The legs themselves, you're going to put those together with the white parts on the toes. Hopefully they don't fall off in any way. And then color splash pages. They've just done a great job with this. Here it is, front and back and attack mode. You can show more about the frame there. He's going to look good in any mode, I would say. Pilot being shown off, thrusters all over the place, just lots of gray for the inner frame. The famous battles with Kira. Up on an action stand, I think he's going to be a lot more fun, like I said, with those yellow effect parts in, or in attack mode. And yes, again, the reminder of the 5Gs, Seed Remaster, and then you can get to go see the waist unit. The waist unit, look at that, you're putting together 8 different plates, well 7 in the polycaps, some of those times 2, so more, if you want to count it that way. The weapons, the shield is looking pretty exciting. They're going to show you here that you can open up the cockpit and the side binders. And if you want to do the transformation, let's take a look. You're going to bend back the V-fin there, slide the actual horn forward, get the binder up out of the way and slide that part back. And once you've got this awkward looking back here, you're just going to swing all the limbs forward, by getting the legs into positions, doing some funky things with those, all sorts of swings until you start to get the 4, and once they're all lined up and you get the toes and the white parts into place, you can guess that after the rotation, you're going to bring them forward and get this. And if you want to put them in attack mode, they're just going to detail it quite a few pages, you can see here, as you are going to have to swing the hips around. Otherwise, it's going to look a little bit strange and asymmetrical if it doesn't look strange already. And once you've got it right, yes, be careful of the self-destruct button, which was used so well in so many science fiction movies. Unfortunate this isn't in color here, as you've got to go put on all the decals and just follow through all of this. The line sketches in white, although they do show it from multiple angles. Tons of details and decals to go on there, and even undeckled, he's going to look pretty fantastic. And if you're wondering what kind of pink it is, it's quite different from Char here. You've got white 50, you've got maroon 40, and orange 10 to make up most of the body, and they are going to call this dark blue with 40% there, and then you've got red 25, black 20, and white 15, and if you want to go paint him up Warhammer style and have his arm off to the side, that's going to look good, but I definitely recommend getting that $2 lining pen so you can at least decide whether or not you want to go line that up and down on the faceplate. So I'm going to wrap up that long unbox and look at the manual there. Stick around and I'll have in the next part all the plates before you get to see everything all put together, the MS and the transformation. Anyway, it's looking quite exciting from all the details they've got in there. So many more details, and it just makes it a lot more fun when you're putting this kit together to peruse the manual itself. But anyway, it's all the plastic, and that's what matters, so stick around for that. And as always, let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. See ya. Pink on a good guy? Who would ever believe it?